Hi everyone, Donut here, and do you remember the couple who wanted to be YouTube famous? So the boyfriend held up a book to his chest while his girlfriend shot it with a .50 caliber Desert Eagle. Well, in case you don't remember it, somehow the boyfriend died after his girlfriend shot him in the chest with one of the largest caliber handguns known to man for a YouTube video. Well, the reason that I'm bringing it up is because the trial just ended and the mother of two pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to 180 days in jail. It's a shitty situation, but she did kill her boyfriend with a Desert Eagle in front of dozens of other people. You guys have heard about all these protests where the high school students are walking out of school to protest gun violence, the peaceful protests. You know, the peaceful walkout protests to protest violence. Well, in Stockton, California, some of the nonviolent protesters beat the shit out of a cop and took his baton. Check out this nonviolent shoe print on this officer's ribcage. 5 students ranging from ages 14 to 18 were arrested and charged with battery on an officer, resisting arrest, taking an officer's baton, and vandalizing police vehicles. During the nonviolent protest, the nonviolent protesters tried to jump a fence behind the school. That's when a uniformed patrol officer approached them and they nonviolently gang stomped his ass. There's another incident that took place in Chicago during the walkouts where 40 to 60 nonviolent protesters nonviolently looted and destroyed a Walmart.
Look at this. A whole damn store, 83rd and 83rd and Stewart. A whole bunch of kids came in here, knocked all the shit down off the shelf, taking shit and running out the store. Simeon High School did this shit.
Oh yeah, y'all about to make Simeon go viral today.
Look at this.
Protesting gun violence in Chicago by being violent. There's a joke in there somewhere. During the nonviolent protests in Antioch, Tennessee, several dozen nonviolent students tore down an American flag and stomped on it. Oh, and just like Stockton, California, they nonviolently jumped on police cars. I know that there were thousands of students across the country who nonviolently protested. We talked about one the other day who was kind of the minority in the protest. We all said this was going to happen. There are going to be some students that take advantage of it. I think that a lot of these students are probably just jumping on the bandwagon. Take a look at this protest sign I saw on the internet the other day. I think this poor young lady might have forgotten that her school is a gun-free zone. Every school is. And she may have also forgotten that the Secret Service exists. Speaking about protests on gun control, Shaquille O'Neal has come out with his position on all this. Shaq says that we shouldn't get rid of AR-15s, that it would just create a thriving black market, and the bad guys wouldn't turn in their AR-15s. It's not often that you get professional athletes who have a lick of sense about them, but I think Shaq just hit the nail on the head. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Shaquille O'Neal is a cop. I'm not joking, he is. He's graduated from the LA County Sheriff's Department Reserve Academy. He was a reserve officer with the LA Port Police Department. He's been made an honorary U.S. Deputy Marshal and has been given an honorary position on a team that helps track down child predators. He's been sworn in as a reserve officer in Doral, Florida. Most recently, he's been sworn in as a sheriff's deputy in Clayton County, Georgia. Oh, and most importantly, he bought a Krispy Kreme in Atlanta, Georgia to prevent the business from shutting down. He has also expressed interest in becoming a sheriff in Atlanta. If he shot somebody, would it be a Shaq attack? Is anyone else having a really hard time telling the difference between actual news articles and articles that are published on The Onion? Let's play a game. I'm going to read the title to an article, and you try to guess if it's an Onion article or if it's a real article. Florida House declares porn a public health risk shortly after denying assault rifle ban. Alcohol level in air at fraternity party registers on breathalyzer. El Chapo promises not to kill any jurors from upcoming federal trial. What a swell guy that El Chapo. Thanks, buddy. Former Barney the Dinosaur actor now works as a controversial tantric sex guru. Tennessee man gets $14 million bond after daring judge to raise his bond. TSA agents are apparently still confused as to whether the District of Columbia is in the United States. Hurricane victims call sex hotline after FEMA mistakenly tweets wrong number. Florida is the worst state in the nation in every way, new rankings say. Well, they do have to deal with Florida, man. Every single one of those articles is a real article, including this one. Michigan Senate wants to arm homeless people with shotguns. What, Brian? What? Brian Ellison, a Michigan Libertarian candidate for Senate, has come up with a new program where they're going to raise $10,000 to give 20 homeless people shotguns. He says he wants to do this because they're very victimized and they need to be able to protect themselves. Let's just look at a few flaws in Brian's grand scheme here. First off, mental instability is rampant in the homeless community. That's usually the reason why they're homeless. That are very, very abusive drug use. I dare say the majority of homeless people that I came across when I was on patrol were abusing drugs, mentally unstable, or both put together. And that's that was the reason why they usually didn't have a home. Also, I don't know if he's thought about what homeless means. It means you don't have a home or a place to safely store things, but you want to give them shotguns. Hey, here's an idea. You know what helps homeless people more than shotguns? Jobs. Maybe he watched that movie Hobo with a Shotgun and just took it literally. In that movie, Rutger Hauer did clean the shit out of the criminal underworld. Elgin, Illinois Police Department Chief Jeffrey Swoboda basically told protesters on Tuesday to suck it after they came to him with an issue about a woman who ran at one of his officers with a knife and got shot. Officers tried to initiate a traffic stop on 34-year-old Cynthia Clements, who ran from police, and they later found her vehicle disabled on the interstate. She barricaded herself inside of her car, told police she had several knives, and they tried to negotiate with her for over an hour. She eventually started a fire inside of her own vehicle, perhaps to create a smoke screen so that she could escape. Towards the end of the incident, she exited her car with knives. One of the officers on scene shot and fatally wounded her. Here's what the chief had to say about the incident.
At me with a knife, I'm not wrestling with you. I'm not talking about this case at all because I'm not doing the facts of this case, but I will tell you the idea that some people have that I will never be able to change in your mind, it sounds like, or at least some of you, that if you come at me with a knife, that I need to somehow wrestle it away from you, or I need to let you stab me in the chest because I wear a bulletproof vest. That's not how the real world works. You come at a police officer with a knife, probably getting shot.
At least 7 officers on scene were wearing body cameras. We're still waiting for that footage to come out. Chief Swoboda seems pretty cool. He seems more like a leader than a politician. Everyone, that is all I have for you today. The weekend is here. Please be very careful as you're injecting your marijuanas. Don't drive. Don't butt chug too much of your favorite Blue Top vodka. Have a fantastic day.